You have been misled regarding the effort required for food cultivation. You were informed that gardening demands extensive hours dedicated to weeding, daily watering, and meticulous tending, which the majority of individuals lack the time to provide. Consequently, you opted for store-bought, convenient vegetables, convincing yourself that growing your own was an overwhelming task. However, concealed in plain sight are vegetables so resilient that cultivators spent centuries attempting to eradicate them. These are plants that propagate autonomously, yield produce without constant supervision, and return year after year, irrespective of your wishes. Your ancestors referred to these as volunteers. The horticultural industry labels them a nuisance. Yet, resourceful individuals who embrace these plants consider them a revelation. Stay with us, as vegetable number 5 was so tenacious that medieval monks constructed stone fortifications to contain it, and despite centuries of effort, they ultimately failed. Here are 13 forgotten vegetables that flourish with remarkable ease, beginning now. Before we commence, we extend our sincere gratitude to all our recent subscribers. Your support is invaluable and we are profoundly appreciative of your presence here. Please subscribe and share in the comments which vegetable you find most challenging to maintain. Now, let us delve into this compilation, ranked from impressively practical to astonishingly remarkable. Number 13. Jerusalem artichoke, the indomitable tuber. This plant is neither from Jerusalem nor an artichoke. It is a Native American sunflower cultivated by indigenous peoples for centuries prior to European arrival. In the year 1605, French explorer Samuel de Champlain discovered these tubers in Massachusetts and transported them to France, where they rapidly gained immense popularity. Here's what makes the Jerusalem artichoke ideal for the less diligent gardener. You plant the tubers just once, either in the autumn or early spring, and then you never need to replant them. The subsequent year you can harvest from 2 to 5 pounds of these nutty-flavored tubers per plant. Any small pieces left behind in the soil will readily sprout into new plants. During World War II, the British Ministry of Food actively promoted the Jerusalem artichoke specifically because it yielded substantial food with minimal effort, particularly while men were away at war. This plant is remarkably tolerant, thriving in clay or sandy soil and enduring both shade and drought. It grows to a height of 8 to 10 feet, adorned with cheerful yellow blossoms that attract pollinators. Some gardeners caution against its aggressive spread, but for the languid cultivator, this is considered a beneficial attribute. Not a drawback. For anyone seeking a root vegetable that is truly set it and forget it, multiplying itself annually, the Jerusalem artichoke is the unstoppable tuber your ancestors relied upon. Number 12. Lamb's quarters, the ancient survivor. Archaeologists unearthed lamb's quarter seeds within the stomach of the Tollund man, a remarkably preserved bog body from Denmark dating back over 2,000 years. Evidence indicates that humans cultivated this plant 8,000 years ago, predating the existence of wheat and corn. Today, we commonly remove it from our gardens and discard it, labeling it a weed. This is a lamentable oversight. Nutritional data from the USDA reveals that lamb's quarters surpasses spinach in protein content, calcium, iron, and vitamin A. Its seeds can be harvested and prepared identically to quinoa, as they belong to the same plant family. This vegetable requires virtually no input from you. It self-seeds every autumn and reliably emerges every spring. It flourishes in depleted soil and arid conditions that prove fatal to more delicate garden vegetables. Harvesting the young, tender leaves encourages the plant to regrow. Lamb's quarters is likely already growing in your garden. You have simply been removing it. For those weary of tending to spinach that quickly bolts in the summer heat, lamb's quarters is the ancient survivor that outperforms modern varieties. Number 11. Egyptian walking onion, the self-propagating perennial. This peculiar allium has graced Egyptian gardens for millennia. Instead of producing flowers atop its stalks, it develops clusters of small bulbs known as bulbils. As these bulbils mature, they become heavy enough to bend the stalk to the ground, where they take root and begin to grow. The onion has effectively walked itself to a new location. Over several seasons, a single plant can traverse several feet across your garden, establishing colonies without any intervention from you. Plant Egyptian walking onions once and enjoy a continuous harvest for years to come. The green tops possess a scallion-like flavor year-round, while the underground bulbs function similarly to shallots. The aerial bulbils can be pickled or shared with neighbors. This perennial is hardy enough to survive winters in Zone 3 and demands nothing beyond the initial planting. Your descendants could still harvest onions from the original plant you placed in the ground. For anyone eager to plant an onion once and forgo purchasing onion sets thereafter, the Egyptian walking onion is the self-propagating marvel that diligently works for you. Number 10. Sorrel, the French perennial. A stroll through any traditional French kitchen garden will reveal sorrel growing alongside the herbs. This tart, lemon-flavored green has been a staple of French gastronomy since medieval times. Here's what makes sorrel particularly remarkable for the easygoing gardener. You plant it once and can harvest from the same plant for 10 to 15 years. It emerges in early spring, weeks before lettuce or spinach, providing fresh greens precisely when you crave them most. Its leaves are rich in vitamin C, which historically protected populations from scurvy when consumed regularly. Sorrel tolerates partial shade, making it ideal for locations beneath trees where other vegetables struggle. Established plants can be divided to share with friends or to expand your own patch at no cost. Removing the flower stalks as they appear redirects the plant's energy into producing more tender leaves. French sorrel soup remains a celebrated dish precisely because this vegetable offers so much in return for so little effort. For anyone desiring a gourmet salad green that continues to produce for over a decade, sorrel is the French perennial that consistently delivers. Number 9. Good King Henry, the lost medieval green. This vegetable sustained European commoners for over 400 years. King Henry IV of France championed its cultivation so enthusiastically that the plant was named in his honor. Entire villages weathered lean winters thanks to Good King Henry when other crops failed. Subsequently, modern agriculture favored faster-growing annuals over perennials, and this remarkable plant nearly vanished from cultivation. Here's why Good King Henry deserves a resurgence in your garden. It functions as a perennial spinach that never bolts. Even in the intense summer heat, the young shoots appearing in spring can be harvested and prepared like asparagus. A single plant yields produce for 20 years or more with no replanting required. It thrives in heavy clay soil that proves insurmountable for most vegetables. Good King Henry demands almost nothing from you once it is established. Seed companies discontinued its sale because it is a purchase made only once. For those frustrated by spinach that bolts by June, Good King Henry is the medieval solution that provided sustenance for centuries before being intentionally overlooked. Number 8. Miner's lettuce, the gold rush savior. In the year 1849, thousands of men flocked to California in pursuit of gold. Many perished, not from conflict or accidents, but from scurvy, a deficiency of vitamin C in their diets. Those who survived learned from Native Americans about a small plant with distinctive round leaves that grew abundantly in shaded areas. Miner's lettuce earned its name by saving lives during the gold rush. Here's why this plant belongs in every low-effort garden. It flourishes in shaded locations where other vegetables fail entirely. It self-seeds so prolifically that once established, it reappears annually without the need for replanting. It thrives in poor, rocky soil that most plants shun. Its mild, tender leaves provide salad greens throughout winter in temperate climates. Simply scatter seeds in the fall and forget about them. By spring, you will have abundant edible greens requiring absolutely no attention. Native Americans relied on miner's lettuce as a vital winter food source for thousands of years before the arrival of gold seekers. For anyone with shaded areas where nothing else grows, miner's lettuce is the gold rush savior that thrives on neglect. Miner's lettuce flourished where no other plant could survive. The subsequent vegetable is the most ancient cultivated green on earth, and Roman legions planted it throughout their conquered territories. Number 7. Watercress, the ancient healer. Hippocrates established his initial hospital on the Greek island of Kos, near the springs of watercress, around 400 years before Christ. He believed the plant possessed restorative properties essential for his patients. Roman soldiers disseminated watercress across conquered Europe to maintain the health of their legions. Modern scientific understanding now corroborates what ancient healers intuitively grasped. Watercress contains more vitamin C per calorie than oranges, more calcium per serving than milk, and more iron by weight than spinach. Researchers at the University of Southampton have identified compounds within watercress that have demonstrated anti-cancer activity in laboratory studies. Here is the truly remarkable aspect for the casual gardener. Watercress thrives in shallow water or consistently moist soil with absolutely no maintenance. You can root cuttings from bunches purchased at the grocery store in a glass of water and then transplant them. A container placed in a tray of water will produce watercress indefinitely. Once established, watercress spreads autonomously, providing harvests for years. We will later explore how ancient civilizations recognized the plants that sustained populations. Vegetable number 2 exemplifies this pattern, extending even into modern space exploration. For anyone with a damp area in their yard or a container that can be kept moist, watercress is the ancient healer that nourished entire civilizations. Number 6. Sea kale. C. The Victorian delicacy. Thomas Jefferson cultivated sea kale at Monticello in Virginia, after encountering it during his tenure as ambassador to France. Victorian English gardeners considered it one of the finest vegetables available, forcing the shoots in spring under terracotta pots. However, the advent of refrigerated transport, which facilitated the availability of inexpensive produce from warmer climates, led to sea kale's near-total disappearance from cultivation. Here's why this coastal plant merits rediscovery. Sea kale evolved on the rugged European coastlines, withstanding salt spray, sandy soil, and drought. This inherent resilience translates into a vegetable that endures neglect that would decimate ordinary crops. A single planting can yield produce for 10 years or more. The forced spring shoots possess a delicate, nutty flavor for which gourmet restaurants now command premium prices. Its ornamental blue-green foliage is attractive enough for inclusion in front yard landscaping. Sea kale requires virtually no watering once established. Some plants are so inherently persistent that human intervention cannot eradicate them. We will witness this theme reach its ultimate manifestation at number 1, with a vegetable capable of outliving its gardener. For anyone with dry, challenging soil conditions, sea kale is the Victorian delicacy ripe for revival. Sea kale endured harsh coastlines for millennia. But the subsequent vegetable was so aggressive that monks built stone walls to contain it, and they still failed. Number 5. Horseradish, the monastery menace. Medieval monks cultivated horseradish for both culinary and medicinal purposes within monastery walls across Europe. They soon encountered a significant problem. Horseradish refused to remain confined to its intended location. Stone barriers erected to contain it proved ineffective. Any root fragment left in the soil would invariably sprout new plants. Monks meticulously documented their struggles with this aggressive perennial for centuries. Here's what makes horseradish ideally suited for the less industrious gardener. You plant a single root cutting and harvest horseradish indefinitely. It withstands the most challenging soil conditions imaginable. It tolerates drought, shade, and complete neglect while persistently producing. The roots develop a superior flavor after the first autumn frost. The young leaves are also edible as cooking greens. Researchers at the University of Illinois have studied horseradish for its glucosinolate compounds, which have demonstrated antimicrobial properties. A single planting truly lasts forever because it is virtually impossible to eliminate, even if one attempts to do so. For anyone desiring a flavorful root vegetable that is absolutely determined not to perish, horseradish is the monastery menace that defeated monks and will never disappoint you. Number 4. Scarlet runner beans, the Aztec perennial. In the highlands of Central America, Aztec farmers relied on scarlet runner beans as a primary food source for generations. The Spanish introduced these beans to Europe in the 1600s, where gardeners initially cultivated them primarily for their striking red blossoms. Here's what distinguishes scarlet runner beans from common beans. In zones 7 and warmer, the roots survive the winter and resprout each spring. You plant them just once and harvest beans for years. The brilliant red flowers attract hummingbirds to your garden while simultaneously providing sustenance. The roots can even be consumed like potatoes in emergency situations. Like all legumes, scarlet runner beans fix nitrogen from the atmosphere, thereby improving your soil each year they grow. Mulching the roots generously in Zone 6 often ensures their survival. For anyone who desires a beautiful flowering vine that also provides food year after year, scarlet runner beans are the Aztec perennial that harmoniously blends aesthetics and utility. Number 3. Perpetual spinach, the endless harvest. This vegetable effectively resolves the perennial problem that vexes every spinach grower. Standard spinach rapidly bolts, producing bitter, inedible seed stalks the moment summer heat arrives. Perpetual spinach belongs to the chard family, and consequently it simply does not bolt. Here's what makes perpetual spinach so exceptional. A single planting can yield harvests for 3 to 5 years, or even longer. It tolerates summer heat that causes regular spinach to go to seed within days. In milder climates, it overwinters, providing greens during months when other produce is unavailable. Its mild flavor is appealing even to children who typically reject more robust greens. Continuously harvest the outer leaves, and the plant will keep producing new growth from its center. In its second year, it may flower and self-seed, thereby generating new plants automatically. A single packet of seeds can supply years of harvests rather than mere weeks. For those weary of replanting spinach every few weeks, only to witness it bolt, perpetual spinach is the endless harvest that finally bridges the summer greens deficit. Number 2. Purslane, the omega-3 champion. Mahatma Gandhi spoke of purslane's significance to his diet. NASA's Controlled Ecological Life Support System program evaluated it as a potential crop for sustaining astronauts on extended missions. Meanwhile, most American gardeners pull it from their beds and discard it, unaware of its value. Here's what scientific research reveals about purslane. It contains more omega-3 fatty acids than any leafy vegetable ever examined. It boasts 7 times more beta-carotene than carrots and significant quantities of vitamins A, C, and D. This succulent thrives in hot, dry conditions that prove fatal to lettuce and spinach. It self-seeds so prolifically that once you permit it to grow, it returns each year with increased vigor. You do not need to plant purslane. You need to stop pulling it. This vegetable is likely growing in your garden right now, awaiting discovery. For anyone seeking omega-3 fatty acids from plant sources rather than fish oil supplements, purslane is the NASA-studied champion masquerading as a common weed, hidden in plain sight. Purslane may very well be flourishing in your yard this very moment. We have now arrived at number 1, the vegetable that lives for decades and represents the ultimate embodiment of the lazy gardener's philosophy. Number 1. Tree collards, the 2-decade harvest. Some vegetables are planted annually, while others return for a few years. Tree collards, however, can provide harvests for 20 years or more from a single planting. African varieties and European perennial kales develop woody trunks over time, transforming into small trees that continue to produce leaves year after year. The purple tree collard variety holds particular historical significance. Plants cultivated today are descended from cuttings brought to America by enslaved Africans who carried pieces of their homeland with them across the ocean. A cutting planted today could nourish your grandchildren. Tree collards tolerate light frost and summer heat. They grow in poor soil with minimal water requirements. Most are propagated from cuttings, as seeds are often sterile. Take cuttings to share the genetic lineage and preserve living history. For anyone who wishes to plant something once and harvest from it for potentially 20 years, tree collards represent the ultimate dream realized for the lazy gardener. These 13 vegetables grow with almost no effort because nature designed them for survival. The seed industry has largely overlooked them because they are a purchase made only once. Your ancestors remembered them because they sustained their families. Modern permaculture is rediscovering them because they are fundamentally practical. Begin with something vigorous like Jerusalem artichoke or lamb's quarters. Incorporate a perennial green such as sorrel or perpetual spinach. Allow purslane to grow instead of removing it. Within a single season, you will comprehend why lazy gardening is, in fact, intelligent gardening. These plants are eager to nourish you. Cease resisting nature and allow them to do so. If this video has altered your perspective on food cultivation, please activate the subscribe button and inform me which vegetable you intend to try first.